Greetings, brothers and sisters. I love all y'all. I love all my black people. And the next thing I'm going to say is probably one of the most controversial things I could say right now. I love white people. Take a deep breath. Let that run through your system. See what that feels like. Right? It was so easy for me to say the other things. But when you hear that, it probably brings up a whole bunch of stuff. So let me tell you about that. I love the white people who stand for justice. I love the white people who will put themselves in harm's way to protect another, as I'm seeing nowadays, as well as throughout history. The white people who've marched with Martin Luther King before it was popular, right? The people who stood up for injustice against indigenous people before it was popular. Whenever there's injustice, those who speak up against the abuse of power, that is a powerful hero right there, and I love you for it, and you can be of any color. But right now, the reason why I specifically want to say I love white people is because white guilt and white shame is being brought to the forefront, and it is being weaponized. It is not being directed towards very specific, loving, harmonious actions that can be taken. So that's going to create some problems, because if we take this opportunity of hearts opening, where people want to take action, and we wear them out with guilt, shame, and these other emotional states, they'll become apathetic and feel like they can't do anything. And every time I just say anything, I'm just getting attacked. Let's not go down that route. This has become a much more political psyop activity, right? And there is stuff that's on the blue and red side that is absolutely ridiculous, right? So, and I've stood on both sides, right? And I've been a card-carrying holder of the NRA and a big supporter and big conservative. I've been a big liberal. I've been back and forth until I've seen that there are so many issues with both of them that now I really have to look at the individual. Really have to look at the individual, because parties are manipulated by corporations. Sorry, that's the way that it is. There isn't just some overly, just party that's just really for all people. It's not the case, and that's by design. And we can address that later, but I'm going to talk about some of the lunacy that I actually see happening right now. So right now, let's go ahead and start with my conservative brothers and sisters, because this is ridiculous, right? I see a lot of people trying to change the narrative about supporting criminals. No one supports criminals. No one's like, oh, you know what, let all criminals free. Criminals shouldn't have justice. Stop it. It's a ridiculous statement. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. No one likes it. No one likes gang violence. Like, yeah, gang violence. We love gang. No. We don't like that, all right? The sane people of society, we don't support that, all right? This whole thing is about, the killing of George Floyd is an abuse of power and oppression of people, and we have to acknowledge our history. So that's something I see is very difficult for the conservative side, all right, our red brothers and sisters on the red political spectrum, is acknowledging history and the history of oppression and what that does to people psychologically. And that I don't know why you can't acknowledge that, but it's something that when you acknowledge it, it can create healing, and it doesn't take away from it actually adds to your humanity, right? You can still be strong in your beliefs, but not acknowledging our history is not empowering for our country. It makes us weaker, right? If we can't acknowledge both the good and the bad, and it's like, no, this is good, that's good, everything's good, everything's equal, everything's fair. No, it is not. Evil exists in this world. We got to just deal with it, right? And by acknowledging it, we can deal with it. We say science about it, and we don't actually acknowledge it. We can't work to change anything. And there are some big changes that need to happen, but they don't need to happen through violence if we can avoid it. Now, I know historically violence has been some of what causes the biggest changes, but hopefully we're stepping out of the dark ages, and we can do it through intelligent, loving action. For all my Christians out there, right? On the right side, you're Christian. We should not be supporting violence, right? That's not something that is done for the followers of Christ. That's not something we support. Defense, yes. So let's talk about this also. Right side, red folks, right? Red party, Republicans, conservatives. We're supposed to be constitutionalists. We're supposed to protect the Constitution, right? Constitutional rights. If we look at the First Amendment, the right to peacefully assemble is in the Constitution. So as much as we actually protect the part of the Constitution to bear arms, we need to protect the First Amendment right as well, right? And the people who are peacefully protesting, not the rioters and looters. You rioting and looting, you become a criminal. We're not talking about that. We're talking about peaceful protest. I see people threatening violence against peaceful protesters, and I see conservatives supporting that. That doesn't make any sense. That's like somebody saying, you know what, we should get rid of your gun laws. And you're like, yeah, I completely support that. No, peaceful protest, you need to support that. That's part of the Constitution, right? Use your Second Amendment rights to protect the First Amendment rights of your brothers and sisters, Americans. If you're seeing us as Americans, and we're all American now, then you need to use those rights that where you're looking to protest because you can't get a haircut, open up your state again, you don't want to wear a mask, and you're out there with guns. Why aren't you out protecting the protesters, walking with the protesters? That's something that needs to happen, right? You need to stop not looking at history. Look at history. It hurts. It's okay. It's fine. We'll love you more for it, to be able to acknowledge it and then still do the right thing. That's something that we are capable of doing. And on the left, stop with the guilt and the shame. Please, not every white person is trying to destroy every black person. That's not the case. It's not the case. It's just not the case. So don't use this to guilt white people to get something that isn't intelligently designed for all people. We're trying to raise the bar here, right? And yeah, there's definitely things that need to change. Defunding the police, I say yes. Demilitarizing, yes. Defunding, let's take a look at that. If you're going to defund the police, we're all going to need the right to conceal carry, right? Because evil exists in this world, and they're putting their life on the line to protect us when they're doing things right. The right folks need the power, and they need the equipment to actually protect us from those who don't. If you haven't seen the problems with cartels, if you haven't been shot at by a gang, which I have, it absolutely sucks, and you feel powerless, okay? You don't want that on the streets. You actually want quality police protection. You want quality policing, right? And from that, you want justice, and you want just. So let's stop just throwing this blanket out, okay? Because these aren't the solutions. We need to think more intelligently. Yes, complete surveillance of the police, yes, 24/7. I think if you're wearing the badge, you go out, you should have a camera on 24/7, and then all of your actions and interactions should be reviewed or available for public within 2 weeks after, so every arrest can be looked at, and you can continually get feedback on how to get better. And we're bonusing, police that have a great record, and those who get complaints are getting, properly reprimanded, or they're getting, their pensions adjusted, or they're just getting eliminated or arrested for crimes. Like, let's tighten that up and raise the salaries, right? Make it a quality job where people can absolutely respect, because we're now building into policing real, true care for the community. That's what we need to look at. And yeah, there's definitely problems. I'm seeing stuff with Antifa. I'm seeing all these different issues. So the whole rioting and looting, number one, that's terrible. That's not what this is about. This is about peaceful protest for abuse of power and oppression against a certain group of people. So let's not hate on our brothers and sisters who are white, all right? Some of them were just born white, just like we were born black. They were just born in a society. They didn't build it. And so to use the privilege right now, we can't have them empathetic. To use whatever privilege, we need them empowered to use whatever they can to help restructure society intelligently, not becoming empathetic and not even want to touch the subject. We need them strong, right? There are strong, amazing, just white people in this world who will stand up and go to the front lines. And I've seen them, and I love them. And I love everybody who's standing up for each other right now, who's speaking out against injustice, who put themselves in harm's way, but are doing it not in a criminal fashion, without putting down somebody else, to be able to stand up for the rights of others. You don't have to put people down. I saw a Latino man jump out of a truck and pull out a chainsaw and chase away peaceful protesters. And one of the protesters is saying, call 911. So yeah, we need a police response to that. And this guy's mad and he's calling out racial slurs and calling out Antifa and all these other things, but he's using a threat of violence against people exercising their First Amendment. Guys, we're falling apart. Can't do this. We can't do this. Take a breath. Take a breath. Center yourself. These are hard times. We are faced with challenges like never before. But we come together. We come together. We can show the rest of the world how we evolve out of this and how America is great because we have people of all creeds, colors, and cultures protected under the Constitution, building a country that the rest of the world looks at and admires. They're not admiring this behavior. This isn't something that we can really be proud of. But this is something that right now is necessary for us to transition into the greatness that we are. We are a diverse group of amazing people here in this country. But we're tasked at this moment to open up our hearts and be greater. The most dominant military force in the world. But how about we could be the most transformative nation in the world from a space of love? And that, for all my Christian folks out there, all my Buddhists, Muslims, whoever you are, if your God preaches love, then this should be your ruling principle. This principle of love. If your post and the things that you are communicating do not resonate love, you need to check your religion. You need to check your actions. Which one's greater? If your God is greater than and your God is love, then I need to see that in your post. I need to see that in your communication. If you have no God, I'm sorry. If you don't believe in a higher power, you don't believe in love, I'm sorry. But I believe most of you do. I believe most of you believe in love. And I believe we can act from there, and we are challenged to do so. So I hope right now we take a moment and we step up and we love each other and help empower each other to transition. I'll be posting more information about what I feel are intelligent solutions to these problems. And I'm looking to pass that along to people who have the time, the energy to be able to move these things forward. I'll contribute wherever I can. But one thing I know I can contribute is my voice and my experience to help open up the hearts of my brothers and sisters. So let's love each other and let's get stronger together. I love you.